welcome to this tutorial about Google Forms. We're going to be taking a worksheet today, a multiple choice worksheet, and we're going to convert that worksheet into a Google form. One of the advantages of using Google Forms is the students can take that worksheet and you can use the Google form as like an answer sheet, and you can have Flubberoo grade it automatically for you, and you have all of the responses, and essentially the grading is done without any time spent. It's a good time saver for you. So let me show you how this tutorial is really going to focus on how can I actually get the worksheet into Google Forms, and so I can give those out and let my students take it. So you see what I have here is a review worksheet that I have. This is a multiple choice worksheet. Now it doesn't have to be multiple choice, but in terms of my classes, and I want to be real efficient with the grading, multiple choice does the best job. A lot of times students will enter responses that are different, or it's a capitalization, or it's a spelling, or things like that, and I didn't want to have to deal with that kind of variation. Flubberoo does do a little bit of variation, but for this example we're going to be using multiple choice questions. And so what you see here is I've got a lot of different questions that if I had to type this up, especially for the math involved, it wouldn't be worth it for me. It's too many equations. The responses are too complicated. In fact, I can't even enter these responses in Google Forms because they're so complicated in the form. I can write equations in Google Forms as a picture, but I can't put these equations in the answer choices. So what I want to show you is how you can get around that with a screen capture tool and a multiple choice worksheet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick a couple of these. I'm just going to show you how to kind of bring them over in Google Forms. With a Mac, if you hit the Command-Shift-4 button all at the same time, it will kind of allow you can see how my cursor is turned into a crosshair. I can go ahead and I can drag that around, and I can take a picture of whatever's on my screen. So I'm going to take a couple of pictures and just kind of show you some different versions. So we'll take one of these. So this Command-Shift-4, and it automatically changes. What it does is it kind of takes a snapshot of your screen, and then it says, all right, drag your cursor over the parts you want. So we'll get one of these graphs. So Command-Shift-4 again, and we'll get that right there. Make sure to get all of it, not to cut off anything. Alright, so that's good. We got 3 to work on. And the first thing I want to do is Google Forms automatically sets up a question. It's usually like a short answer question. I go ahead and delete that because I want to enter the picture first and then the multiple choice answer part next. So under Add Item, I click the down arrow and it brings up your options. And so you have all these different kinds of things you can put in. I'm going to use the image to bring in my screenshot. So I'm going to go ahead and find those screenshots that I had. And I think this was the first one. Yeah. So we're going to choose that one. And so here's my image, just like I took it. I like it to be centered. And so you see there. And I'm going to go ahead and title this. I'm just going to put in 1 since it's the first question. I'll click Done. And then this time I want to, if I clicked Add an Item again, just the button on the side, it's going to generate the same exact thing you put in first, or whatever question type had been chosen previously. I want multiple choice, so I'm going to go ahead and select multiple choice. And in this case, I can either title the question, but I need to know that this is where the students are responding, and this is the answer. I could type an answer for number 1, or just I can shorthand number 1. You'll come up with your own kind of method. Sometimes it's easy to see, but when you go to look at your spreadsheet, you want a relatively short way of identifying which question is which, so you can kind of make sure to grade the right ones. Since I have A, B, C, D, see the answer is available. You definitely don't want to take a picture if the answer's showing. So I wouldn't really do that if this was a real multiple choice or a real questionnaire. So I'll type in A, B, C, and D for my answer choices. I'll click This is a required question. If you leave the required question box unchecked, the students can actually fill out the information and not answer the questions and turn it in. And if it was for grade, then you would be able to allow them to have a blank question. So if it is required, I would go ahead and check that. If not, leave it unchecked. And so there you have it. That's essentially what happens. You're going to go ahead and you insert your picture, all of your answer choices there, so there's no typing involved. Super simple to do. To answer or to insert another one, I click on image, and I just kind of go back and forth between image, multiple choice, image, multiple choice. We'll pick that real tall one, the graphing question. Now this one's going to be really tall, so you're going to see it generate a fairly tall image. I really don't like it on the side, so we'll put it back in the center. Although if you're using a mobile browser to see this, I think it automatically centers it for you. All right, so go down and choose multiple choice again. This will be question number 2. So number 2, go back up. I forgot to title this one. This is image number 2. The difference here, I put number 2 for my question answers, and I just use the actual without the pound symbol or out the number sign. So A, then B, C, and D. And that's essentially all you have to do. I'll go ahead and for some of my questions, I'll check. Let's see, where is that? Allow only one response per login. If I'm going to be actually doing autograde on this one, and you can watch the autograde tutorial, I'll go ahead and I'll automatically collect their username, which is their email address. That way the autograde knows where to send the results to. If this is actually an assessment, I don't want to check that automatically collect the respondent's name. One of the features in Google Forms is that once you finish, if they know your email address, you can click a button on the bottom. If this check mark has been checked like this, then the student has the option, if they wanted, to send themselves a copy of this quiz to their email address, then it will. And if you're worried about test security, you definitely don't want to have that box checked, because that way it would be really, really, really easy to cheat. You wouldn't get a key, in other words, they wouldn't really know the answers, but they would have a perfect copy of your little quiz. And there's a lot of ways you can shuffle and randomize things, but they're still going to be able to see all the questions. So if security, if this is for a grade, definitely wouldn't check that. To get around that, what I usually do, I'll go down to the bottom, or maybe at the top, at the beginning or the end, and I'll have them do first name, and I'll require that question, and then I'll add another item for last name. Why do I do the differences? Sometimes people will not, they'll just put their first name, or they're just their last name. And if I wanted to sort these based on first name or last name, I would want to be able to sort based on last name, since my grade book sorts based on last name. That will be easy for me to sort using it that way. If I put it all in one box, I can't sort by the last name. But that's just options that I want to give myself if I want to use it or not. And this is essentially how you convert a worksheet into a multiple choice questionnaire or short answer, depending on whatever your worksheet is, into forms. So it saves you from typing it all up. Just put the picture in, take some screenshots, and there you go.